Hola. Hola clase, muy bien. Esta charla virtual es la primera parte de dos que tendrán que ver con las preposiciones, en particular las preposiciones por y para. Estas preposiciones se prestan a mucha confusión y es mi deseo que esta unidad breve les ayudará eh, para comprender mejor las diferencias que hay entre estas dos preposiciones. Entonces, muy bien, para comenzar, quiero que piensen en estas dos frases. Compré este regalo por mi mamá. Compré este regalo para mi mamá. Vamos a pensar. Ambas frases son correctas, pero no significan lo mismo. Estamos hablando de dos significados muy distintos. Dos significados muy distintos. Entonces, ¿cómo podríamos diferenciar entre las dos? En inglés, la traducción realmente no tiene distinción. I bought this present for my mom. Pero en el caso de por mi mamá, es en vez de ella. Mi mamá está, mi mamá está bajo cuarentena y a mí me toca hacerle las compras. Entonces yo compré este regalo por ella porque ella no puede. Es un regalo para mi prima y mi prima se va a casar. Es un regalo de bodas. Mi mamá no pudo ir de compras, entonces yo fui por ella. En el caso de compré este regalo para mi mamá, estamos hablando de algo que va dirigido hacia ella. Compré este regalo para dárselo a mi mamá. ¿Okay? Cuando pensamos en la palabra para, quiero que piensen en un momento. Quiero que dibujar. Ok, quiero que piensen en una flecha. Cuando pensamos en para, pensemos en una flecha. Cuando pensamos en por, quiero que pensemos en un signo de igualdad. Ok, en esta primera frase, yo soy igual a mi mamá para el propósito de comprar el regalo. Ok, ahora, estos símbolos no van a siempre funcionar, no van a funcionar en todos los casos. Pero en general, estas imágenes les podrán servir, ojalá. Este semestre vamos a hablar mucho de las preposiciones en español. Las preposiciones son una de las partes más difíciles de cualquier idioma. Siempre son el último detalle que aprendemos a manejar bien y son lo primero que perdemos de un idioma que no utilizamos regularmente. Cuando yo vivía en Guatemala, solo 6 meses, pero fueron 6 meses en el 2002, antes de celulares inteligentes, antes de mucha tecnología como Skype o FaceTime ni nada. Entonces fueron 6 meses de realmente no hablar mucho el inglés. Y cuando yo regresé a Minnesota, me costó manejar bien en inglés las preposiciones y las palabras cortas, pequeñas, para describir la relación entre dos cosas. Por ejemplo, luchaba con si decir, those two things are different to one another, different from one another, different than one another. Esto me costó. Entonces, las preposiciones son lo primero que perdemos y lo último que aprendemos. Y cuando se trata de la traducción entre un idioma y otro, son las partes que tienen menos coincidencia y por lo tanto son más difíciles de traducir. Por ejemplo, si yo digo puerta en español, la mayoría de las veces tú sabes que en inglés vas a decir door. Fácil. Si yo digo corro en español, tú sabes que probablemente en inglés vas a decir I run. Hay una fuerte coincidencia entre las palabras I run y yo corro. Entre la puerta y the door. Pero con las preposiciones no existe tanto esta coincidencia. Un ejemplo que para mí es muy interesante se trata de los salmos en la Biblia. Ahora, yo no hablo hebreo, no leo hebreo, no he estudiado hebreo, pero un profesor de la Biblia una vez me explicó que cuando nosotros leemos en los salmos a Psalm of David, por ejemplo, esta palabra of no necesariamente tiene un significado súper claro. La misma palabra podría significar it was written by David, it was written about David, it was written to give to David, it was written for David. Entonces hay un montón de diferentes significados cuando dice of David. ¿Se trata de él? ¿Fue escrito por él? Realmente no hay como un solo significado y no hay un significado muy claro, ¿verdad? Entonces vamos a ver lo mismo cuando estudiamos las preposiciones en español. No se trata de traducir así, palabra por palabra, así de cerca. Vamos a alejarnos, vamos a ver todo el contexto y así vamos a encontrar nuestra traducción al español, nuestra traducción al inglés. Se trata de traducir a la distancia, ver el significado, el sentir, el contexto y así elegir nuestras palabras. Muy bien. Ustedes tienen, ojalá, un momento. Ustedes tienen, ojalá, una copia dura de esta como libreta, estas hojas que vienen del libro Practice Makes Perfect, Spanish Pronouns and Prepositions. Dorothy Richmond era una profesora en St. Thomas University, entonces es una autora local y el libro está disponible por muy buen precio en Amazon, también en librerías como Barnes Noble, pero recomiendo que no vayan durante la pandemia a Barnes Noble, sino que pidan los libros por Amazon. Okay. Vamos a simplemente ver lo que ha escrito ella. Your textbook will also have, and really every Spanish textbook will have a section or multiple sections on por versus para. But I have chosen this one because of all the textbooks that I've ever examined, I found Dorothy Richmond's explanation of por versus para to be the clearest. And so I photocopied it for you guys because I think you probably will also find it helpful. Dorothy Richmond has identified 4 different uses of para and 6 different uses of por. And she kind of goes through each of them here in the text. And I think she's done a very just masterful job of identifying and isolating those different uses. But it is important to remember that Spanish speakers do not study these 4 uses of para and then follow those rules carefully as they speak the language. Nobody invented Spanish by sitting down and saying, okay, let's come up with one word that could do this or this or this or this. That's not how language evolves, right? So what she's doing is looking at the language through a giant lens and kind of pulling out tendencies, identifying tendencies that Spanish speakers have, sort of putting some structure to it. So keep that in mind. What we're doing here is kind of artificially creating categories that native speakers don't really think too much about. And certainly the speakers of Spanish never set out with this end in mind. That being said, this is a very important topic. Do read this. Dorothy Richmond explains that while there are a number of different grammar things, issues, problem areas that people who are learning Spanish may have, ser versus estar, indicative versus subjunctive, most of these don't significantly alter the meaning of what you're saying to the end that they confuse the listener if you make a mistake. Okay, so if you say, oh, mucho gusto, yo estoy Kimberly. Okay, nobody's confused about what I'm saying. They're thinking, wow, you're clearly not a native speaker of Spanish, but I get what you're saying. On the other hand, if you mix up por versus para, like in this context, you could really be confusing the meaning of what you're saying. And in some cases, you might be communicating almost the opposite. So this is a very important topic for us to tackle. Muy bien. El primer uso de para que identifica Dorothy Richmond es el uso de destination. And you'll notice that she also uses an arrow when she thinks about para. So for por, she uses a balance scale, which is also, that's perfectly, of course, valid. An equal sign is easier to draw. And I've always had an equal sign in my mind, but an arrow is a very good universal image for para. Again, not always going to be applicable, but hopefully you'll find that in many cases it is. Un uso es la destinación. Okay. Cuando se trata de la destinación de algo o alguien. This is a perfect example, or rather the sentence we looked at the beginning of this charla is a perfect example of that. Compré este regalo para mi mamá. I bought this gift for the destination of my mother. Of course, we wouldn't say it that way, but when you take a step back from para, which we always have to do when we're going from one language to another, but particularly so when we're dealing with prepositions, we have to take that step back and ask, what's the intent here? What does the context say? What's the meaning? And my meaning there is to give to or intended for the destination of my mother, right? So that's how you know that one is going to be para. She gives many examples, which I think are very helpful. Romeo es perfecto para Julieta. Okay, he's perfect for her. He's perfect for, and you can kind of picture him moving in the direction of an arrow toward Julieta. Okay, so he's perfect to be with her. He's perfect for the purpose of, for the destination of being with her. Okay, los astronautas van para la luna. I hope you guys can see my cursor on here. I'm guessing you can. Maybe I need to, let me try. There we go. Los astronautas van para la luna. Salimos para la iglesia a las 9. I want you to star these two examples because we're going to find that here is one case where if you mix up por and para, you change the meaning. Okay, when you say los astronautas van para la luna, you're saying they're going to the destination of the moon. That's their final stop. Okay, salimos para la iglesia a las 9. That's our final stop, church. Okay. Oops. I didn't mean to put that there. Ay, santísimo Padre. Ok. Muy bien. Otro ejemplo. Ella estudia para electricista. Ellos estudian para carpintero. Ahora, tú puedes decir, ellos estudian para ser carpinteros o ella estudia para ser electricista. Está bien, pero otra opción es eliminar la palabra ser y cambiar, cambiar la carrera a su forma neutral para terminar con estos dos ejemplos. Ellos estudian para ser carpinteros o ellos estudian para carpintero. Ambas formas son correctas. Aquí, el segundo uso de para que identifica Dorothy Richmond es el uso que habla de propósito. Okay, propósito. Entonces, yo como para vivir. Estudiamos para aprender. These two are so important. I really want to call your attention to them. Many of you are still saying and writing things like, I eat, yo como, to live, vivir, yo como vivir. And this is what happens if you translate like this, up front, up close. If you translate word by word by word by word, instead of taking a step back and asking yourself what's being meant here. Because when you say to live, that could be an infinitive to live, vivir, or it could mean in order to. And if you take a step back from that to, and it means in order to, or for the purpose of, you need para. You can't just say, yo como vivir. Doesn't make any sense. Okay, we study to learn. If we take a step back from that to, and it means in order to, we need para. We can't just say, estudiamos aprender. All right, so this is an error that I'm seeing a lot. So take note of that. Muy bien, aquí la tercera categoría que identifica Dorothy Richmond es la de fecha límite or deadline. So we looked at this when we studied the future perfect. I don't know if you remember, that was a while ago, but we talked about by 2020, by spring of 2020, I will have By Thursday, I will have done my homework. By the year 2030, I will have accomplished XYZ. So that by Okay, by the deadline of, by the date of, that's para. When you take a step back from by, or for, or before, as you can see, I'm down here now. And it means by the deadline of, we need para for that, okay? You can see that I crossed out the next section. This is a section that I'm not totally in agreement with Dorothy Richmond on it. I think there is some regional variation, and I think there's also just some ambiguity in the examples that she gives. And I ran this section past a number of different native speakers from a variety of backgrounds, and there was no agreement among them about whether she was spot on or unclear or just inaccurate. So I just erased that part. You can still read it if you want. I think you can still see through the scribbles, but I scribbled that for you because I didn't want to confuse an already confusing topic. Okay, muy bien. Oops. Vamos a borrar. Okay, muy bien. Finalmente, the fourth and final category identified by Dorothy Richmond is standard, el estándar, okay. So when you say, and this is another really important one, they're all important, but some of them can make for more confusion than others, okay. Paco es alto para su edad. Hace calor para enero. When you mean Paco is tall for his age compared to everyone else his age, Paco is tall. Paco is tall when compared to everyone else his age, okay? It is warm for January as compared to most Januaries. When we're comparing something to someone or something to a norm, we're gonna use para, okay? And then this one down here, this seems counterintuitive to a lot of people. Oh, no, sorry, wrong one. This one doesn't seem counterintuitive to a lot of people, but a lot of you are putting a instead of para. So when you want to say, like, in my opinion, something is interesting or odd or unusual or cool, a lot of you are putting a mí es interesante. Okay, what you want to say is para mí, right? So we're sort of comparing to a standard here because you're saying maybe the standard is that it's not that interesting, but for me, okay, in my opinion, para mí es interesante. Okay. So the 4 uses of para that Dorothy Richmond identifies, broadly speaking, are destination, purpose, deadline, and standard. And I had a student a number of years ago who created a song. This was back in 2007. Her name was Carissa Miller. And she created a song that helped her remember these 4 uses. And I'm going to pause this video and pull it up, and then we're going to sing it together. But I'll have you stand while I'm doing this. Hold on. Pause? No. Pause. Muy bien. Pónganse de pie. Vamos a marchar. ¿Conocen la canción Las hormigas marchan? ¿Sí? Vamos a cantar esta canción mientras marchemos. Vamos a hacer correr la sangre que ayuda a la memoria. ¿Ok? ¿Listos? Dad, please do something para me. Use para. correctly. For destination, purpose, deadline, and standard, use para. Use para for where you're going and purpose for going by when you'll get there and whom you're compared to. Yes, para's like an arrow that points somewhere. Okay, whom. So, Dad, please do something para mí is her little mnemonic device, DPDS, destination, purpose, deadline, standard, to help her remember. So she started out with, Dad, please do something para mí, to help her remember those 4 uses of para and later distinguish them from the uses of por. And then she composed the rest of the song, which I think is charming. So let's do it 2 more times, 3 more times, getting faster and faster, okay? Dad, please do something para mí, use para correctly. For destination, purpose, deadline, and standard, use para for where you're going and purpose for going by when you'll get there and who you're compared to. Yes, para's like an arrow that points somewhere más rápido. Dad, please do something para mí, use para correctly. For destination, purpose, deadline, and standard, use para for where you're going and purpose for going by when you'll get there and who you're compared to. Yes, para's like an arrow that points somewhere más rápido. Dad, please do something para mí, use para correctly. For destination, purpose, deadline, standard, use para for where you're going and purpose for going by when you'll get there and who you're compared to. Use para's like an arrow that points somewhere. So hopefully you'll commit those uses of para to memory. Do sing the song, do teach it to your loved ones, and I will be back with another video about the uses of por. Do complete the activities related to the uses of para in your new packet that you've printed or picked up in the classroom, in the gabinete, in the box. And Dios me los bendiga. Dios me los guarde. Ciao.